just could not to afford the monthly payment. Let me tell you the reason why. Her rent by itself for a 2-bedroom apartment was $1,900. I'm like, wow, that's how much you pay. Yeah. And only bring home a certain amount. So you factor in people out here paying $2,000. I had one customer paying $2,800, $3,000 a month for a mortgage. That is absolutely insane. I mean, I'm blessed and I'm realizing it. I can afford whatever I want, but at the same time, that's too much for rent. The homes is too high.
Almost $300 a month, okay? I'm confused. I'm lost, dumbfounded. Everywhere in my city, everybody going up in apartments, okay? These are just 1-bedrooms. I pay $1,100 a month for 1 bedroom right now. If I resign my lease, it'd be $1,300, okay? Not including maintenance fees, not including all the utilities and all that stuff. When it's all said and done, I'll be spending $1,600, $1,700 to live there, okay? When it's all said and done. My thing is, what do these landlords think we're all making out here, okay? Everybody not making all that kind of money like this. I'm a truck driver. You can see I'm in this truck right now. Truck drivers don't get raises, okay? We don't get raises. I barely made enough to make 3 times the rent already. But now it's just going up. I don't know what's going to happen. I make $4,000 a month. I don't know. Well, I made that, but after taxes and all that, I didn't go. It's about 36, something like that. I won't be able to afford that place anymore I live at right now. So I got to move. I'm probably considering living in my truck maybe. Might get a hotel rooms on weekends. If I get a hotels on weekends, I spend $508 a month just for service and stuff. That saved me a lot of money, over $1,000 a month just doing that, because I'm gone most of the time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he's currently stationed at. So I have no idea about the income and how much people make. But I do have to agree, I think rent has gone crazy. And I think a large part of that is just because people can't get regular housing. So a lot of apartment complexes have raising the prices up. And then I know that there's like a certain technology that they've been using to see what everyone else is pricing. Because
RealPage.
Yeah, RealPage. And then they've been kind of setting their prices according to that. But yeah, man, I got to completely agree. I think in this economy, man, to be honest, the best way to do it is just to live with a roommate. To live with a roommate, to live with somebody who can't afford the rent.
So I'm going to address the first question he had. I don't know if it was rhetorical or not. It sounded like a genuine question about how do landlords think that we can pay this rent? And I'll give you this. Listen, it's not that there's a group of landlords, although with RealPage, it seems like there is. It's not like there's a group of landlords that get together in a room and go, oh, choose that price. And that's what it'll be. You set rent at what the market will allow. So in other words, the reason rent is going up is because someone's paying it. Otherwise, the landlord would rent to him. He's paying $1,100. You know why the landlord raised it to $1,300? Because someone's willing to pay it. Otherwise, they wouldn't do that. It's the market that sets the rate, not the landlord necessarily. So wherever he's at, there are people that are in his area that can afford that rent.
Yeah.
If there wasn't, the rent would stay at $1,100 because then the landlord would have nobody to rent to because no one could afford it, if you're following me. So,
yeah. I mean, luckily for him, it seems like he's in a situation that allows him to be flexible.
yeah.
Because if he's on the road, having a roommate is probably going to be the best option for him. Because if he's on the road anyway, he doesn't really need to be there that often. Roommate, live with family, give him some money, probably help them out a little bit. Not the most favorable position, but a workable position until you can get, where you want to be.
Besides the fact that I'm extremely struggling to pay my rent every month, you know how I realized that it's really, really bad out here? I live in the hood, okay? I live in the hood. The hood. Garbage everywhere. People's dogs not tied up. Pit bulls running around. Litter, dog poop. People riding bikes. Women of the night down the block. Like, I've been living here for
Real quick pause. Shout out to her to be able to make comedy out of it.
Well, she's telling the truth.
But I mean, I like the fact that, like, if you're not in a favorable situation, you can make jokes about it, because there's some people that would just like stay in that position, like, oh, I'm doing so bad. I like the fact that she got, quiet.
a year and a half. And when I first moved in, it was 100% black, like 100% black. And now I was just walking my dog and this white guy was like, Jimmy, that ass. Now, all of a sudden, I've seen at least 4 of the apartments taken by white people. And this is like the cheapest spot in town. Also, some Hispanics have moved in as well. Like, when I first moved in here, there was a white girl that lived here. But I feel like when I realized everything changed when I seen white men moving in here, I was like, oh shit, it's bad out there. It's bad. And I'm actually scared, guys, for my lease being up in January. I'm very scared. I'm very scared for what's gonna happen. That being said, please help me get to 10K. Oh my God.
So it seems like there's a lot of gentrification happening in that area. It kind of reminds me of New York. I had a couple friends that were from New York, and they used to there's a couple older people. I wouldn't say friends, but they're kind of like older people in the barbershop. They would talk about how New York was, like how how Brooklyn was back in the day. And just in case you guys are unaware of, like, Brooklyn was known as kind of like a sketchy spot that, like, you know, some ish would go down. And then, like, I went to Brooklyn like a year or two ago. In Brooklyn, you see like white girls running down the street with their dogs. So it's kind of funny just to see how like quickly things can change.
Yeah, I mean, personally speaking, when I bought a house, and I'm gonna sound bad, but you always want to buy in the path of progression. So you want to buy like on the line where it's kind of iffy, but you see the progress coming towards it. So I was on the fence on whether or not I wanted to buy this place, and I rent this place out. And when I bought it, one of the final decisions that made me decide to go with it is the fact that I started to see people of other ethnicities than me jogging around with their dogs at night. And when I saw that, I said, yeah, it's probably a good place to buy, because they're not gonna be out there jogging at night if it's terrible crime out there. So,
and there's people of the night.
People of the night, where she meant, you know. But that goes back to the other thing I said too about how landlords are going to raise the price to what the market can bear. The price that she was paying was the price that went along with the kids running around, dogs not being on leashes, trash everywhere. As things start to get better and people start to move in, not to say this is good, or not to say it's a good thing, right? That people get displaced. It just is what it is. That landlord now is going to raise the price because those people have more money to pay for higher rent. So then therefore you have to move. Just like the guy that drove the truck, he has to move. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that is what.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone thinks it's good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's what it is.
I can't change it.
This is for a very specific person. I'm going to text you so you know it's you.
Oh.
But I think everybody should hear this. My friend is renting an apartment, and the lower apartments cost less than the upper apartments. The upper apartments are $1,625 a month. So I lowballed and said the lower apartments are $1,000. I know that's not accurate. Based on that math, these people are bringing in about $18,000 a month. Now, when they bought it with their mortgage, yada, 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 they're paying about $4,000 for their mortgage. So that leaves $14,000. Let's say that craziness, they spend $4,000 a month upkeeping this apartment. That's still $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year that they're raking in profit on this apartment complex. So what I'm saying is we need to get into the apartment game, because that's how we're going to get rich, bruh.
I had a customer earlier today, got her approved, but she just could not, and I understand, just could not to afford the monthly payment. Let me tell you the reason why. Her rent by itself for a 2-bedroom apartment was $1,900. I'm like, wow, that's how much you pay. Yeah. And only bring home a certain amount. So you factor in people out here paying $2,000. I had one customer paying $2,800, $3,000 a month for a mortgage. That is absolutely insane. I mean, I'm blessed and I'm realizing it. I can afford whatever I want, but at the same time, that's too much for rent. The homes is too high. The rent right now, I get it. I understand. And wow, there's some people out here, there's some tough situations.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with him on that, because when you think about how much the average person makes, what, 40,000, 50,000, and then a lot of people aren't coupled up together now. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's really hard out here. It's hard for people to make rent. It's hard for people to make money. Groceries are high. A lot of things are high. I'm just honestly waiting for the crashing point, is what it feels like, because I don't see how this is. I don't see how this can be sustained for that much longer. I really don't. Unless people like team up, like you have a lot of people living in those apartments together. I don't really see it working out long term.
So I don't want to come across as being out of touch or tone deaf. Sit here and say that things are not too expensive. I'm not gonna say that inflation is not kicking everybody in the butt. I'm not gonna say that at all. I know that things are expensive or more expensive at a grocery store, everywhere, across the board. But when I hear people say it's not fair, that's where I start to go, well, that's life. One, there could be a bubble that everyone thinks that we're in, which may or may not be true. If that's the case, it'll pop and things will go back to normal. Don't think it's gonna happen, but could. The other idea is that you might have to change your situation. A broken record. But again, these people, for example, these apartment complexes, they're businesses. They're not charities. They're out to make a profit. If they weren't making a profit, they would adjust their prices so that they can make a profit. Have people renting their spot. What am I saying? What I said before. There is someone renting these places for $1,900 a month. That's why they're charging that much. Otherwise, they wouldn't. So the people that are trying to get these $1,900 a month places, maybe they just can't afford it, and that's unfortunate. I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm saying that it just kind of is what it is. But I could be wrong. Maybe things are just right now, they're priced so high, and all these apartment complexes are just taking all the money in they can until the bubble bursts.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
I doubt it.
Like what I'm thinking is that they're trying to see as how many people that they could really get in. Because I've heard a lot of apartment complexes talk about how like they've had a lot of vacancies. So okay, if there's a lot of vacancies, that means that you don't have a lot of customers.
Maybe. Yeah,
So,
of course, yeah.
So my thought process is like, okay, maybe they're trying to see how many people in the market will pay this. They're trying to get everybody that they can to pay this, and then if they're vacant for too long, then they'll drop the prices. What I think, and I think they're trying to find an acceptable level where they can get the highest amount that they could possibly get and sustain it for the longest period of time. That's what I think that they're doing. That's what it seems like they're doing.
It could be. The reason that, so here's another thing, I'll make a comparison. If you look at a lot of new builds that are being constructed now, a lot of times these developers, they're building more luxury homes. Why are they building luxury homes and not smaller homes for first-time home buyers? Because the people that can afford to buy right now have a higher income. So I'm equating it to that. There are people that are, especially depending on on where, again, a lot of these videos too, they don't say where they're at. That's a big part of it. Because that matters a lot. If you're on the coast, West Coast, East Coast.
West Coast, you're cooked.
Well,
we don't know. East Coast, New York coast.
That's the thing though. It depends. So if you're on so what have people done in New York for a long time? New York prices have been way high for.
That's why I said people live together. There's a lot of
they live together, or they make enough money to afford it. That's it, because there's a lot of money in those areas. And why is a lot of money? Because there's a lot of jobs in those areas. Why is the rent so high? Because people move there to get the high-paying job, and they have to now find a place to live. And as you can see, there's more demand with more money. Prices go up.
So I know a girl that used to work 3 jobs in New York, and I was like, 3 jobs? I was like, when I worked 2, I was cooked. I mean, I wasn't cooked. I was doing fine, but I was tired. I'm saying, so I couldn't imagine someone with 3 jobs. She was like, yeah, you know, after a while, it just becomes life. I was like,
and by the way, a lot of these places are in transition too. So if you're living in a high cost of living area, and you have to move, and then a lot of people with money move into the area and raise prices up, i.e. gentrification, i.e. let's say people moving from California to Texas, what happened during 2020. There's going to be a transition period where people that could afford to live places once can no longer afford it. And all this new money that's moving in. Actually, I'm in an area now, I'm not going to say where. A lot of people are moving into the area from a more high cost of living area, and it's raising prices where I'm at or where we're at. And so now maybe you paid $1,400 a month 2 years ago, but in 2 years from now or now, you're starting to see prices change because people that have more money are moving from this high. That's just how. So it's a transition.
It's shit. Yeah, they're shifting around. They're shifting their people around. You're going to different area. The place that wasn't the hood now become the hood. The place that's good is now So I mean, ultimately, guys, I'm gonna say it's definitely sad to see that a lot of people are having a hard time. I know this economy is not great for a lot of people. Hopefully, it won't be for too long. I can't say when. I'm not an economist. I don't know these things.
I agree with you. I think that it's sad that people are being beat down by these prices. I think that we're all being, unless you make a lot of money, we're all feeling it. I feel it. You feel it.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of you in the comment sections feel it. So I'm not trying to bash anybody. As we go through this transition period where the prices are increasing a lot faster than wages, we're gonna have to hold on and buckle up because it's gonna be tough. So I feel bad for people that are trying to find a reasonable place to live without rats and roaches and baby kids. You know what I mean? And it's tough.
And poop on the sidewalk.
You know what I'm saying? Poop on the sidewalk, trash, unless you're San Francisco, they like that kind of thing. I feel bad for that. So, hopefully it gets better soon.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best solution is you got to shift the mindset. I think a lot of people should just go off of the foreign mindset. And you see a lot of foreign people who might come in the country. What do? They get together, they build up, they grind, they share stuff. Sometimes they even share food. This is what I call it crunch time. And this crunch time, I think that's the best option for most people to do, because America really isn't built for just one income. It's not built for you to survive on one income. It's really a 2-income kind of thing. So I mean,
nowadays, yeah, for sure. It's not 1950 anymore, folks.
If you guys agree with us, leave a like, leave a comment. If you disagree, leave a like, leave a comment. All right, decision makers, stay away from high rent.